All right, we got to talk about Microsoft. Microsoft admitted to being hacked again. I feel like this is 2023, and it kind of started in 2023, but it's 2024. And on January 12th, they said that they found that Midnight Blizzard, otherwise known as Nobelium, or Cozy Bear, which is a Russian state-sponsored advanced persistent threat, or APT, hacking group, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to call them Cozy Bear because personally that's my favorite name that they used. We'll get into naming conventions at another time. But Cozy Bear gained access to an inactive Microsoft tenant. It was a test tenant. It wasn't supposed to be used for anything. How did they get access to it? Well, they password sprayed it. What's a password spray? A password spray attack is pretty simple. You pretty much can figure out what the email addresses are that are good, and then you just basically bombard it with passwords over a period of time. Now, you don't want to get caught. So how did they avoid getting caught? Well, they use residential proxies, which makes them look like they're coming from just individual people when they're doing the password spraying attack. So when cybersecurity, when you're looking at IP addresses, you actually do a reputation based on those IPs. And a lot of times IPs will be labeled as bad or from a threat actor or something. Well, when you're using a residential proxy, it doesn't really happen. So that's how they got avoided for a long time. Anyway, they got access to an account. They got in there and realized that Microsoft had screwed up and left, well, a Microsoft engineer had left an OAuth application on the tenant that had full access into Microsoft Corporate. Now, OAuth is just a way to authenticate on the internet. It's token-based. It's used by a lot of companies. That's bad to have an application that had that level of access to Microsoft Corporate. Should never have happened, should never have been left there. They were able then to get into Microsoft Exchange Online accounts by giving themselves access to it to high-level Microsoft officials, security people there, and I think even some lawyers. So really bad attack. Microsoft said nobody from a customer's perspective got attacked in this, but it just goes to show you that the company spends billions of dollars and they just left a test tenant without multi-factor authentication enabled, and that's what happened. So if you have a business, again, multi-factor authentication is your first thing to use to protect against something like that, because even with the password spray, if they would have got a good combination, it would have prompted them from MFA, and it probably would have killed the account because like that MFA is probably not even being used anymore. So moving on to another attack that is kind of related to this. Same group, Cozy Bear, hit HP. Yes, the company that does printers and computers. Except this one is a little worse from a time standpoint. Microsoft was from November to January. HP was from May to December of last year. They had access into their emails. They didn't really say much about what they were looking for. They think they were trying to collect information on what maybe HP knew, similar to what Microsoft was. They wanted to just find out what Microsoft knew about them, but they had 7 months of access. There's a lot of things you need to do to protect email. MFA is one of them. They didn't really talk about that. HP didn't talk about whether that was being used or not, how they got access to it, but it's really important to understand that. Let's just do the basics. Don't reuse passwords, use MFA, and you need to have a detection and response program as part of your cybersecurity program. So if you can't detect that people are doing malicious stuff on your email system, you're not going to be able to stop it or respond to it. And in this case, it took Microsoft a little bit, but they did figure it out. HP, same thing. It took them 7 months to figure it out. How long do you think it would take your business to figure it out? So think about that. Drop a comment down below. Let me know. Stay cyber safe.